Coming up next on This Week in Torrance, fallen Torrance police officers are remembered for their selfless acts of courage.
And locals educate themselves on how to be more water-wise.
Then young entrepreneurs compete to sell their business ideas.
Plus, we've got full coverage of the Armed Forces Day Parade and weekend festivities you won't want to miss.
These stories and much more are just seconds away.
Your local news starts right now. Hello and welcome to This Week in Torrance. I'm Jen Chun.
And I'm Ben McCain. Thanks for joining us. Here are your top stories. The city of Torrance is taking new measures to manage the growing problem of coyotes. Torrance City Council unanimously approved a 13-step management proposal that would help decrease the coyote population. Presented by the Torrance Police Department, they shared a public service announcement that gives tips on what residents can do to deter them. The program includes community outreach along with trapping. In 2016 alone, there have been 99 coyote sightings, 46 attacks on animals, with 38 of these resulting in death. The city hopes this program will reduce coyote attacks by changing their behavior at early stages before they feel even more comfortable in residential neighborhoods. However, extensive research and reports done by authorities show that Torrance is currently in stage 4 of 7 behavioral patterns, which means that coyotes are comfortable being out in daylight and chasing animals. Some of the high priority areas include Hickory Park, Nadine Circle, Lago Seco Park, and Sleepy Hollow, which authorities plan to focus on. The Torrance City Council will be hosting an urban coyote management workshop in the council chambers on June 14th at 7 p.m. For tips, go to torranceca.gov.
Fallen Torrance police officers were remembered for their ultimate sacrifice. It's been a tradition for the Torrance Police Department to honor officers who've died in the line of duty. The most recent police officer to be killed in the city was Officer Thomas Keller in 1986. Sergeant William Robert Lewis, Officers David Noel Siebert, and Gary Elton Ripstein were remembered for their sacrifices. The ceremony also paid tribute to Hazel Kenny, a crossing guard struck by a motorist. It's been a tradition for children of current Torrance police officers to participate in a flower ceremony for the fallen. Torrance retired Police Sergeant Ron Traber worked alongside 3 of the officers being remembered.
We don't want to forget what they meant to us and what they gave to us and the community.
The ceremony runs in conjunction with National Police Appreciation Week.
Locals put on their thinking caps at a WaterWise workshop. Guest speaker Russell Akiyama, owner of Sunflower Farms, talked about which plants are better to have around your home that won't need a lot of water. He shared the geographic outline of the city along with the types of soils that currently exist in Torrance. Akiyama says soil is key in making sure your gardens thrive during the drought. Attendees learned that they can have the best of both worlds by having a drought-tolerant and pollinator-friendly garden at home.
This is a process that nobody has a monopoly of information on, and that gardening is something that everybody can participate in at any level.
Akiyama encouraged people to be knowledgeable about their landscape in order to have a successful green space.
I think it was just really informative, and Russell was a great presenter, and sort of got me excited about what I can do next, and how to make my garden not just full of succulents, but also make it beautiful with flowers.
Sunflower Farms is a family-owned business that specializes in landscape design and services with over 40 years of implementation experience.
5 Torrance students graduating next month received financial help thanks to a local organization. The Torrance Rotary Club gave out $1,000 scholarships to each student who is planning to attend El Camino College. The soon-to-be graduates are selected based on their uniqueness and diverse backgrounds, along with their stories of success. Recipients spoke at the podium about their future career path and achievements.
Many accomplishments. The thing that I'm most proud of is my ability to learn fast, and especially in languages.
The awardees were Rianne Bayan from Torrance High School, Kaniz Malik from Sherry, Oshani De Silva, Namila Saria from North High, Maria Marcos from South, and Dylan Lizotte from West High School. The money will help students purchase materials for college in the fall.
Every little bit helps, and to help encourage our students, give them time to really focus on their studies so they don't have to go out and work quite as much. This type of scholarship is so important.
I think a lot of families are really worried about the financial part of going to college, so the scholarships give them the opportunity to have that step in the right direction.
One of the students selected will be the first in her family to attend college. The event took place at the Depot Restaurant in downtown Torrance.
It's a patriotic tradition that brings people from across the country together to say thank you to the men and women who serve in our armed forces. Torrance City Cable reporter Hiba Samad was along the parade route at this year's 57th annual Armed Forces Day Parade.
From the United States Army Black Hawks flying low to World War II veterans to some of the highest ranking members of the armed forces present, you could see red, white, and blue patriotic spirit down Torrance Boulevard.
I've known about the great patriotism and the excellence here in Torrance, and it was just a great opportunity for me to come back.
For Brigadier General Malcolm Frost, the annual Torrance Armed Forces Day celebration was also a sweet coming home. A Torrance native who graduated from North High School, it's his first time back in the city since 1984.
It's an incredible coincidence that here I am from this town and I get to come back, and it just shows the great support and what this community is about.
This year, the United States Army was the honored branch of the military, and as the Army's Chief of Public Affairs at the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., Frost says he grew up with the Armed Forces Day Parade, and to now actually take part was an honor.
Great chance for us to connect back in with the people of Torrance, who are such great supporters of the United States Army.
And one of the many supporters that came out was Luisa Perez, who drove 4 hours from Blythe, California just to see her son.
We haven't seen him. We only see him during Christmas time, and we couldn't wait for Christmas too far, so we decided to come out here.
Her son, Horacio Wells, is stationed in Virginia and says she is grateful for the city of Torrance for bringing her closer to him.
This is going to be our first time seeing my son do something like this, and it's going to be emotional, but, you know, yeah, it's going to be memorable too.
Thousands of parade spectators are expected to line these streets to watch the nation's longest running parade sponsored by any city. And for nearly 484 men and women, it was the beginning of a new chapter as they took the oath to enlist in the United States Army.
We should all be very, very thankful for that they're willing to put themselves behind things of higher ideals, that they're willing to support something bigger than themselves.
It's amazing that so many people come out and support it, and you just have such a sense of pride.
And with another historic celebration in the books for Brigadier General Malcolm Frost, he hopes to make a visit home soon again.
It has just been an incredible experience, one in which I don't want to wait another 30 years to come back, and I certainly won't. I will be back, I'm sure, in the years to come.
For Torrance City Cable, I'm Hiba Samad.
Thanks, Hiba. More than 100,000 people attended this year's parade.
Well, still ahead, we take you to one of the trendiest children consignment stores.
And in case you missed the Armed Forces Day celebration, we have it all covered.
Go Army!
A renowned patriotic band that performs from coast to coast made a stop in Torrance to bring their tunes to the Armed Forces celebration recently. The 300th Army Band, a 40-member instrumental ensemble, is Southern California's only Army Reserve band. It's led by CW2 Jeff Smith and is part of the U.S. Army Reserve and the 63rd Regional Support Command. The band performed a diverse selection of marches, classical literature, patriotic music, and vocal solos, to name a few. The soldier musicians come from all walks of life, and many travel as far as 100 miles or more to participate in the band's monthly rehearsals and performances. Interesting fact, it is a military unit and its soldiers must be trained and have all the basic warfighting skills. No matter where they travel, members say they have a common goal: to entertain, inspire, and use the power of music to instill a deep sense of patriotic pride. The group dates back to 1943 when it was first created in London. They have been part of the AFD celebrations for over 20 years.
And hundreds of people waited in line to get a glimpse of the exclusive military exhibit. The parking lot just east of the Lifestyle Wing at the Del Amo Fashion Center transformed into a military zone as people had the chance to get an up-close look at 37 military vehicles and equipment from various branches. The U.S. Army Black Hawk was one of the aircrafts parked in the lot. Other highlights was the 11th Army Cavalry Regiment M1A1 Abrams tank, which is a heavily armored mobile tank designed for modern armed ground warfare. It is one of the heaviest tanks in service, weighing in at close to 62 metric tons. Also on display was the M88A2 Hercules recovery vehicle that is equipped with a crane that has a 31.8-ton lift capacity. It helps recover damaged, stuck, sunken, or overturned vehicles. There were also U.S. Coast Guard assets like the 29-foot response boat that helps with search and rescue, counter-drug missions, and even coastal security. Spectators enjoyed the USS Nevada model ship, which is known to have served in World War I and World War II. Officials say there were more military assets at the exhibit site this year than ever before.
A past tradition brought nearly 1,000 participants to the Del Amo Fashion Center to take part in the 5K run and walk. This year, honoring one of Torrance's legends. Here's Tao Ta with the story.
And they were off as locals, military dignitaries, and supporters of the armed forces ran to remember the past and present members who served their country. It was also an incredible tribute to Torrance's hometown hero, Louis Zamperini, a World War II veteran, Olympic runner, and Torrance resident.
I just heard he was like a local legend. I know that he has a movie that came out about him like flying airplanes and jumping out of planes and stuff. So he had a pretty influential, career.
Wow, this is the first Armed Forces Day run and walk in tribute of hometown hero Louis Zamperini. Many here say they're participating in honor of a loved one who served.
We're here to support the troops. They do so much for us and we just really appreciate it. So if we can help out in any way, donations, running a marathon, wearing the right colors, we'd love to do that.
Torrance resident Chris Smith ran alongside his wife and 2-month-old daughter and says he's participating in this race for his father, who served in the Army for 20 years.
It means a lot to me. I know it means a lot to him. He's really proud of me for doing this.
Participants like Mike Riley came from Redondo Beach to show their support.
Just to get some exercise and then to support the troops in the local community.
Alongside police officers and firefighters, 200 of the participants were military units.
My grandpa was in the Air Force. My dad did Reserve War II. So when I'm here, I'm supporting them and everyone else who's ever served for our country.
A special time for everyone to remember our nation's armed forces. And for Smith, it's keeping his father's legacy alive.
He had wanted me to serve as well, and I took a different route. So if I can help out in any way and any time, he really appreciates that, I know.
For Torrance City Cable, I'm Tao Ta.
Thanks, Tao. Teddy Massa took first place with a time of 15:51, and Lexi Ceballos came in with a time of 19:49. Winners in each age division had the chance to ride on a float in the Torrance Armed Forces Day Parade.
And while the celebrations honored military members, they also remember the sacrifices loved ones make. Brianna Trutanich was at the military barbecue and luncheon.
Before marching down Torrance Boulevard, hundreds of military cadets and active service members gathered at El Prado Park for a morning of activities, food, and fun.
We show up early so the future soldiers can compete in competition before the parade. And afterwards, we all march in the parade together.
Lauren Martinez and her 3 children came out to support her husband, who's a U.S. Army recruiter, and his company that was participating in the events.
It's been really fun. We've been out here. We're enjoying the sun and the awesome weather here in Torrance. We've been seeing all the soldiers and Marines compete, and it's been really exciting.
Some of the soldiers got to the park as early as 5:45 a.m. and spent the morning participating in competitions, including tug-of-war and relay races.
What we do is compete against each company within the battalion. Esprit de Corps brings their morale up. What we want to do is encourage their families to come out and be a big part of this. Also, we want to invite the local community as well.
Marine and Army cadets from across Southern California competed against each other in teams.
Yeah, I liked the part when they were playing the tug-of-war when it was San Gabriel, when my dad's company was going against Long Beach.
The event gave the families of the cadets a chance to support them before they head off to basic training. Active military members and their families also attended to support the cadets.
Well, it's good to get public presence out in the community. Before these soldiers go off to basic training, we'd like to have their families see that there's a positive environment for them Basic training is difficult. We like to foster that team spirit and camaraderie before they head out.
And while things were winding down at El Prado Park, the dignitaries' luncheon was underway at the Toyota Meeting Hall. The luncheon was held for military dignitaries and honored guests before they headed out to the starting line of the parade. Mayor Patrick Fury, Grand Marshal General Robert B. Abrams, and Honorary Grand Marshal Joe Mantegna all spoke during the luncheon about the importance of recognizing and honoring our military.
I'm really so proud of our city. We are so patriotic. I mentioned in this speech that we have so many affinities to the military.
It's a testament to the city that